96, 97. There's this young man, he goes to Adelaide against Australia and he plays that innings, right? And you looked at Mahela and he had to be successful, right? And the only way he wasn't going to be successful was if he sort of chopped himself down. Now, so there's Mahela Jayawardene, there's Kumar Sangakkara. They're coming from two different parts, and they both come together and make 624 in a partnership. But otherwise, you've got parts that are converging. Explain that to me, because you look at Mahela and say, I wish I could bat like him, and yet you have your own strength. Is there competition amidst the camaraderie?
Oh, absolutely. I think
like
that's
Rahul
so
and Sachin, for example.
Yeah,
sure.
It's absolutely important that you have that competition. It's not at the expense of one another, but it is the healthiest way to inspire one another and drive one another to become better. You know, and that's how human beings are made. I think we've got to admit to the fact that, you know, if someone scores more, you are happy for them, but at the same time inside you're thinking, okay, why am I not doing it? You know, why can't I do that? So I want to do that. I want to do better. And so you drive each other onwards and upwards to become better, to do better. And you have that really healthy culture where it's intensely competitive, but it's not destructive. And you don't think yourself better or bigger than someone else, but the fact remains that you will have to pull your own weight. And to do that, you have to be as good or better in the terms of performance. And it's the same with Mahela, myself, Tilan, Samaravira, everyone. You know, we used to have competitions even in a jocular manner, saying, well, who has the nicest forward defense? And Tilan used to tell me that I have the ugliest forward defense in the world, right? And I used to laugh. But then when you go to practice, you always try and say, okay, just try and work on the defense being as solid and as nice as possible. You know, little things like that sometimes work, in your favor. But Mahela got into the side, I think, as you said, in 1997, 98. He had already played 2.5 years of cricket and a World Cup before I got into the side. Tilan Samaravira the same, Ranganahera the same. But the good thing was that we were all of the same age. So when we all were in the dressing room, no matter whether one was slightly senior in terms of experience, our mindsets were very similar. And we gravitated towards each other in terms of hanging out, going out for food, talking cricket, and we could relate to each other. And that really was helpful. But that also meant that we were intensely competitive against each other, whether we played club cricket, whether we played a warm-up game, and even in terms of our performances for the side. But one thing we never lost sight of was that if you had to do well as an individual cricketer, you needed someone else's assistance. You needed the others around you. And that's how we built our partnerships, and that's how we built our friendships, and that's how we built a really, really lasting team.
How did you handle, you and Mahela, your friends? You now eat crabs and sell crabs together. But how did you handle the shifts in captaincy? One day you're captain, one day he's captain, one day you're captain, one day he's captain. And how do you ensure there's no rift between you when that happens?
Well, I think the best way that we've ensured that we had no rifts was that we used to fight and argue over so many things. And it was a no-holds-barred argument if we didn't agree with each other or with someone else. And we had the freedom to do that. We had the trust in each other to do that. It was never a case of you say yes and I say yes. And that is how we avoided having rifts. I think the worst thing that you can have is a dressing room culture where you let things slide. You don't say anything because someone else is senior or someone else is the captain. If you are in the leadership group, you have equal voice. Whether you are a newcomer, but you're deemed good enough to play in the same side as everyone else, you have a voice and weight to that opinion of yours, and you need to express it. And everyone needs to understand that we are not right every single time. We need to listen, and we need to, take a beating to our egos and to our pride at times for us to understand, to get better. And it was the same in our dressing room. There were so many things we would have argued about, fought about, not spoken for a day or two afterwards about, but we all did it from a position of trust and respect, and that really got us through the good and the bad times.